Alright, this is the 6th take. Literally. The 6th take. I'm not kidding you. It took 6 times. So this better work. I'm Trash Salsa for the 6th time. And this is my 1971 Lakewood S-23. Again, for the 6th time. I've had this fan for quite a while now. Don't know when I got it. It's more recently, I guess, but it's not really that recent. I still had it for a while. So, I'm just getting to doing the video now. I actually did other videos with this fan already, and the Reborn review is just something I had to get done. So, here it is. So, this is the first Lakewood in my collection. I actually have the 3 rivet blades, which is also known as the P23 blade set. This is my first P23/S23, or 2-digit Lakewood, if you will. So, and it's pretty cool, actually. So, get to the cabinet like I normally do. It's in this, like, cocoa brown. I think that's what the fan's considered. It's like cocoa brown color. Why is this not focusing? I really don't have to do this again. Anyway, yeah, there's, like, weird, like, stains here. And that's really the only damage on the fan so far. Here's the top. It's not the same as the Wills Royal. It's a bit of a different shade of brown. It's got the smaller knob, which, yes, I did have to go through each thing and clean that out. It's actually my first metal bleeder with a 3-speed. All my other ones are 2-speed. When I got this fan, it had no handle, so I had to, like, literally make one. So I went to Ace and got some screws, and they went up through the cabinet here. Through the original holes, that is. Then I also got some nuts put on there. Then I capped it off with hot glue so that way this doesn't come loose. And then this, I guess, screw is whatever. It's just better in every way. Like, that's rubbery now, so no one gets hurt. And then the screw is also protected from, like, rust and things. This handle just comes off like a shipping box or whatever. It's actually really strong, and I've had it on there since I had the fan. Because when I got the fan, I knew it didn't have a handle. So I actually made the handle before I got the fan. So ever since I had this, I had the handle on it, and nothing's happened yet. Knock on wood. But yeah, let's get to the side here. See, some parts are pretty good. Also, you have the plastic caps for the side. I don't know why. A lot of these were metal, but mine here has plastic ones. This is the only Lakewood in my collection, which I have a lot of Lakewoods. And this is the only one that have the Lakewood badge. Which, this is actually my favorite Lakewood logo. I love the cursive with the stars. That's just so cool. But, yeah. There's the switch. It's typical, whatever. I did clean the switch bag, so that's why that looks nice. Here's the hub. I had to sand that down. The blades had to be washed in the sink because they had this, like, greasy, like, garbage on them. The whole fan was full of, like, greasy trash. I'm guessing it was probably used in, like, a kitchen or something. And that's where all that greasy nonsense came from. The only thing that would clean this fan out of rubbing alcohol, some bleach cleaner stuff. I mean, I used everything. The only thing that worked was stovetop cleaner. So, I guess I keep that in mind. Stovetop cleaner is pretty powerful for cleaning fans, especially ones like these. The grills were brought into the shower and cleaned in there to the best of their ability. I had to literally scrape with my fingernail each one. So, it's got the motor, square stator, Macmillan. I'll get to that more in a second, though. Some of this, it's missing a few slats here and there. This one I had to glue half of it back. This one it's still missing. This one I glued in. This one I also glued in. I might have glued that upside down. I don't know. Who cares? From a distance, it looks okay. Because when I got it, there's a lot of slats in the inside here that just kind of fell inside the fan. There's the inside. It's pretty good. It says S-23. 2.7 amps. Yeah, that's wrong. I don't know why. You would think the square stator Macmillan, which is typically 2.4 amps. This one is rated 2.2, which is really strange because I've never seen a Macmillan run to 2.2 before. Again, I also, granted, I never owned any P23s or S-23s, so maybe this is a common thing with this model that they requested to have a smaller or weaker motor. But 2.2 to 2.4, what's the difference? So, it's got all the original screws, whatever. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop blabbling. Let's turn it around now. This fan's really heavy. Kind of. Okay, so first thing you'll probably notice is there's 3 replacement screws. Those are my screws. This fan did have some replacement screws on the front, which, keep in mind, actually the front and back rail were swapped when I got it. The retarded previous owner thought it was a good idea to have 3 replacement screws that did not match. So when I got the fan, there was like there was a flathead screw here, there was like a bolt or something in there that I needed a wrench for, and then there was a Phillips. So I'm like, you really had to have 3 different type of replacement screws. Like, did you really not just have all the same matching ones? So obviously I took all the replacement ones out, and I replaced them again with nice shiny chrome Phillips screws that actually match each other, so they're all the same, rather than this other seller with all the, well, I'm gonna replace the screws with a bolt and then a flathead and then a Phillips. It's like, just make them all the same, dude. So that guy was kind of dumb. Anyway, the rest of the screws are OEM original. So there's the brace. This is the diamond brace because it's got like a diamond-ish shape to it, or the one-piece motor brace, whatever you want to call it. I like the diamond brace because it sounds cooler. And I love that design. It just looks so cool. The motor looks kind of like a, I don't know. This is not, I mean, the motor is weird. So it's a Macmillan. Okay, we got that. It is a square stator. Okay, we got that. But there's actually 2 versions of the square stator. Not many people know this. There's the early version, and then there's the later version. The later version is the one with, like, you know, you'd see like a K223 second gen or a P223 second gen. It's a 2.4 amp motor and whatever. This is the early one. The early ones typically either had oil holes like my Cal Air, or they were like this, but the motors usually were cocked to the side, as you can see. The oil port's facing this way, so the motor was always turned at a 45-degree angle. That's kind of how you know if it's an early square stator or not. And this one draws 2.2 amps. And the biggest difference between the early and the later square stators is the early ones, just like this one, they have the tape over the windings, which only the early square stators had. So this is how you know you have an early one. And these would have been in the early 70s, around that time era, just like this 1971 Lakewood here. So based off those observations, this is a early square stator Macmillan. So it's not the same as whatever. Like I said, there's 2 versions of these square stators. So there's a little bit of motor trivia. Here's a weird looking slat. I'm not sure how that happened. Looked like someone like took a bite out of it. Not sure why or what. There's the whole back view. I have put this fan in the window once and it looked kind of weird. Not that you need to, no, not. All right, here we go. Let's get to the side. Bottom, I mean. No, I don't want to scratch anything. Okay, whatever. There's the bottom. I replaced all the feet on this fan. They have grommets with screws going into them that run through the top. And you can see that they have a nut that goes on the inside. Yeah, so I was able to clip out all the rivets, remove all the old deteriorated feet that looked like Cheerios, and I was able to get these in here. And yes, they do stay in. They don't come out. They're in there. And I actually have them reinforced by glue. So this is the way it doesn't scratch whatever surfaces. Holy crap, did you hear that thud? Almost put a hole in the earth. Fan's heavy. Alright, well, enough jabber jawing. Let's get this fan going. Here is high. I'll get to that sound in a minute. Nice air. Here's low. This fan sounds really good on low. I think I've used this twice overnight before on low. Motor's making a weird sound. Like it's dry almost. Anyway, get up to high. I'll talk about the motor in a second. Okay. The spin down, first of all, the spin down has got a 50-50 chance of being good or bad. This fan's really weird. I've gotten really long spin downs before, and then I've had some really weird ones. Looks like this one might be one of the long ones. It really depends, because there's something wrong with this motor. I don't know if there's like witchcraft or something going on, but it acts very strange. And, yeah. The spin down looks like it's one of the pretty good spin downs. There'll be a few times where you just turn the fan on like high, just like I did. Like I could do this again in 5 minutes and the spin down will be terrible. Or it can be like this the second time. It depends. Like every time you turn on the fan, it'll have a different spin down, which is really weird. So here's the problem with the motor. Well, I don't know what the problem is. That's the problem. I'm guessing it's a bearing sound. Now, if you're a motor geek, I'll make this kind of quick, but hopefully you can reply with an answer in the comments. But when I got this fan, it was bone dry, so I oiled it. When I went to oil this fan, black oil came out of underneath the motor here. Like pitch black. It looked like ferrofluid came out of the motor. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? That, to my knowledge, is factory oil that has just dried up and has been kind of reactivated by the 3-in-1 blue can, which I had the right oil. And my guess is that penetrated through the factory oil and then it kind of spilled out of the motor. With that in mind, I mean, I don't know. And then on the shaft, which you cannot see, but on the inside on the rotor there's a little bit of scoring, which is basically, in other words, some scratches on the shaft from the bearing. So, to be clear, this motor is not buzzing and it has already been varnished. So, it's nowhere in the buzzing territory. Whatever is going on, I think, is a bearing problem. The thing is, I don't really know because I don't have any fans with bearing problems. I've had fans with oil problems that are not like this, and then I have fans with buzzing problems, but nothing with bearing. So this is kind of not familiar to me, so I don't really know what's going on. And it's really a shame because this fan has a really cool startup sound, and it's completely drowned out by that annoying bearing noise, which is kind of just a shame, honestly. But it does have really good startup sound, but again, the bearing noise, you won't hear anything. I mean, I could just show you, like, here's high. It just gets kind of drained away. The blades are tight on the shaft, so it's not the blades. It's not the shaft. They're tight. Everything's fine. It has thrust washers. I checked all of that. Everything's fine. There's no visible play, either back or forward, up and down, or side to side. There's no play at all. Everything's fine. So I've dealt with everything that this fan needs. The thing is, I think just the bearings or just something's wrong with them because I have no idea what is going on. So, yeah. I could try to get a startup sound, but again, this fan has kind of ruined bearings. I guess, I don't know. I went on the forums, I've asked a few people, I asked another fan collector, nobody really knows. So, I'm like, okay, whatever. So if you know what it is, now that you can hear and see the fan for yourself, please comment down below what you think it is, because I cannot get anybody in this world to understand. I find that hard to believe. It's like, I've asked how many people now what's going on with this motor, and nobody knows. It's like, out of all the people on Earth, nobody seems to know what's wrong with this fan. Like that weird sound, where it's coming from. They just think it's the blades or something. It's like, it's not the blades. They're tight, dude. they're tight. So it's not that. I mean, I've already checked that like 3 times. But anyway, here is high. And it's making a sound too. Like it's hitting something or it feels dry. Why is this lopsided? Down there. Stop. Okay. Start up on medium. Medium, in my opinion, is probably the best startup sound. Because high and low are kind of drained away by the sound. I really don't want to edit this video. I set the blades. There. Okay. Here is low. It's not the grills either. The grills don't rattle. Because if it was the grills, they would have rattled while the fan's running, so that's not what it is either. I have no idea what is going on. And the fan runs fine. Like I said, I ran it overnight. On the kilowatt meter, everything runs fine. Just it's making that weird sound when it starts up. Anyway, I don't know why this video is so long, but it is. So if you guys enjoyed it, see you guys in the next one.